A proper understanding of marriage, and that's a key word, a proper understanding of marriage, gives us the insight to understand, at least a little bit, what might await us in eternity. Look at quote 2b on the top of page 55. The absence of marriage in heaven is explained not only by the end of history, but above all, by the authenticity of man's response to God's gift of himself to us. Remember in our previous sessions we talked about holiness. And we said holiness is what? Holiness, do you remember this? Is the response of the bride to the gift of the bridegroom. In this spousal analogy, God is the bridegroom and the church is the bride. And in heaven, the marriage that will be consummated is not the union of a male and a female. The marriage that will be consummated is the union of Christ and the church. This is the union that really satisfies the ache of the human heart. Mick Jagger is not going to get his satisfaction. This man's going to try and try and try and not discover his satisfaction until we reach this marriage of eternity. God will give himself totally to us, and we, like a bride, will open to receive that divine gift, and we will return the gift of ourselves to God. And in this way, John Paul II says, we will experience a union that is definitively beatifying. We talked about this also in a previous session. Beatifying, what does it mean? It means total bliss, supreme happiness, total fulfillment. Every tear will be wiped from our eyes, and we will participate in the ecstasy for which we yearn. Do not be afraid to yearn for ecstasy. Just make sure you're yearning for the real kind and not all the counterfeit ecstasies offered by this fallen world. 2c, in the resurrection, we will experience a union with God in His Trinitarian mystery. What does that mean? Okay, fancy theological words. Let's make it a little more, digestible. We've been talking about the Trinity as an eternal exchange of love. We've been talking about the Trinity as an eternal, this is kind of my way of putting it, the eternal love bomb explosion, right? We will participate in that love bomb forever. We will be set ablaze. In the book of Revelation, there's a great sign of a woman who appears in the sky, and she is clothed with this woman is set ablaze. Mary is on fire with God's love. And so will we be for all eternity. We will participate. That's what we mean when the Pope says, this is what the Pope means when he says, this experience will be a union with God in His Trinitarian mystery, an intimacy with Him in the perfect communion of persons. All of us as persons will participate in a perfect communion with God and a perfect communion with one another. This should light a fire of hope in all of us, a yearning for heaven. The eschatological communion, the eschaton, that means the final reality. This eschatological communion of man with God will be nourished by the vision face to face of the most perfect communion. Let's explain what's being said here. The most perfect communion is the communion of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And we will see that. We will contemplate it. And in seeing it, that perfect communion will nourish us and lift us up into communion with God. That's what the Pope means when he says the communion between man and God will be nourished by the vision of the Trinity, of that perfect communion of the three divine persons. Doesn't God, even here on planet Earth, nourish us with His very life and love? And how does He nourish us? This is my body given for you. The Eucharist will be perfectly fulfilled in this reality. And we must remember that the Eucharist, mystically speaking, is the consummation of a marriage. So all that is true, good, and beautiful about marriage doesn't get thrown out the window. It gets taken up to participate in the eternal marriage of Christ and the church.